So this is the solved outline of inclusive education. So in this video, we will cover all the chapters of inclusive education. So let's start from chapter number 1, an overview of inclusive education. Introduction. What inclusive education means. Inclusive education ensures that all children, regardless of their differences or disabilities, learn together in regular classrooms. It focuses on equal access, participation, and opportunities for every child to achieve their potential. History of inclusive education, how it evolved. Early education separated children with disabilities into special schools. Integrated education emerged to include disabled children in regular classrooms with extra support. Inclusive education goes beyond integration, aiming for full participation, acceptance, and belonging. Global milestone Salamanca Statement 1994 by UNESCO promoting inclusive education worldwide. In Pakistan, inclusive practices are emerging in schools with teacher training and policy support. 1.3 Objectives of inclusive education. It means why it is important. Provide equal educational opportunities to all learners, promote social inclusion and peer interaction, develop academic, social, and emotional skills, respect diversity and individual differences, reduce discrimination, stigma, and marginalization. 1.4 Key features of inclusive education. What makes a classroom inclusive? Learning takes place in regular classrooms. Flexible curriculum and teaching methods accommodate all learners. Individualized support is provided according to the needs. Collaboration among teachers, parents, and specialists. A positive and supportive learning environment. 1.5 Approaches and strategies. How to implement inclusive education. Child centered teaching. Focus on individual needs. Differentiated instruction using varied methods. Co teaching with general and special education teachers. Use of assistive technologies and learning aids. Peer tutoring, group work, and collaborative learning to enhance participation. And also, you can use eclectic teaching approach. It means using various methods and techniques according to the situation. 1.6 Challenges, barriers, problems faced in inclusive education. Lack of trained and skilled teachers, inadequate school infrastructure and resources, large class sizes, hindering individual attention, negative attitudes, social stigma and low awareness, limited specialized teaching and learning materials. 1.7 Role of teacher and school responsibilities for inclusion. Teachers identify learners' needs and strengths, use varied teaching strategies, encourage active participation and inclusion, to know the potential of your students, to know about your students. So these are the roles of teacher. Role of schools are provide inclusive infrastructure and resources, promote inclusive policies and culture, involve parents and community in supporting learners. Number 8.1, a 1.8 national and international perspective, global and local views about inclusive education. International Internationally, UNESCO, UNICEF, and other organizations promote inclusive education. In Pakistan, policies encourage inclusive classroom teacher training and support services, but full implementation is ongoing. Inclusion is recognized as a human right globally and nationally. 1.9 Benefits and importance. Why inclusive education matters. For children with disabilities, improve academic skills, reading, writing, maths, enhance social competence, communication, and self esteem. It means that it enhances social skills, encourage peer friendships, and social participation. For children without disabilities, develop empathy, tolerance, and acceptance of differences, gains exposure to diverse abilities and learning methods, enhances collaborative learning and social skills. For society, promotes social harmony and equity, prepare learners to become responsible, inclusive, and capable citizens. So 1.10 is conclusion. Inclusive education is essential for equity, social justice, and holistic development. It values diversity, empower all learners, and benefits society by producing responsible, empathetic and capable citizens. Teachers, parents, and schools must work together to ensure its success. So, chapter number 2 is global and local perspective of inclusive education. 2.1 Introduction, Understanding Global and Local Views. Inclusive education is worldwide movement. It ensures all children, regardless of abilities, learn together. Understanding global and local perspective helps identify how inclusion is promoted internationally and implemented in Pakistan. 2.2 What are global and local perspective, meaning and importance? Global perspective, how countries worldwide approach inclusive education, focusing on human rights, equity, and quality learning. Local perspective, how Pakistan or specific region views and practices inclusive education, considering culture, policies, and resources. 2.3 Global principle, equity and equality. Equity, providing resources and support based on needs so all children have equal chances. Equality, ensuring every child has the same access to education regardless of background, ability, or disability. These principles guide UNESCO, UNICEF, and other international organizations in promoting inclusive education globally. 2.4 Global best practices, example from around the world, co-teaching and collaboration between general and special education teachers, differentiated instruction to meet diverse learning needs, use of assistive technologies for learners with disabilities, policy and legal support ensuring education for all. Countries like Finland, Canada, and Australia successfully implement inclusive classrooms. 2.5 Regional overview, South Asia and nearby countries. Focus on integration and inclusion of children with special needs in schools. Regional challenges, large population, limited resources, teacher training gaps, uh, initiative by SAARC countries to improve inclusive education. 2.6 Local perspective, Pakistan's inclusive education status. Inclusion is emerging in mainstream schools with special provisions. Awareness of rights of children with disabilities is increasing. Efforts to train teachers and adapt curriculum for all learners. 2.7 Local efforts and incentives, government and NGO support. Government programs, curriculum adaptation, special resources, teachers, financial support. NGO initiatives, awareness campaigns, school programs, teacher training, incentives, scholarships, free textbooks, and accessibility improvements. 2.8 Local challenges, barriers in Pakistan, lack of trained teachers and inclusive infrastructure, social stigma, and how awareness about di- and low awareness about disabilities, limited funding and educational materials, large sizes making individual attention difficult. 2.9 Policies, global level and training attitude. International policies, Salamanca Statement 1994, UN Conventions on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Global training attitude. Teachers must learn inclusive teaching methods. Policies encourage teacher development, curriculum adaptation, and inclusive practices. 2.10 Conclusion. Inclusive education requires global learning and local adaptation and continuous effort. Success depend on trained teachers, Supportive policies, awareness, and collaboration between schools, parents, and communities. Chapter number 3 is an Introduction to Special Need Education (SNE). Objective of Special Needs Education. Why SNE is important. Special Needs Education focuses on educating children who have disabilities or learning difficulties so they can participate fully in society. The main objectives are provide equal learning opportunities for children with disabilities, help children develop social, emotional, and academic skills, prepare students to live independently and become productive citizens, support teachers and schools to adapt learning materials and teaching methods, promote awareness and acceptance of diversity among peers. 3.2 Categories of Special Needs Education. Types of learner. Children in SNE special needs education are grouped based on their specific needs. The main categories include physically disabled, children with mobility or physically challenges, hearing impaired, children with partially or completed hearing loss, visually impaired, children with partial or completed vision loss, mentally challenged, intellectual disabilities, children with cognitive or developmental delays, learning disabilities, children with difficulties in reading, writing, spelling, or math despite normal intelligence, emotionally or behaviorally disturbed, children with difficulties managing emotions or behavior, multiple disabilities, children with more than one type of disability. 3.3 Principles of Special Needs Education. Guiding Rules. The principles of SNE ensure effective and meaningful education for all students. Individualized learning. Teaching methods and materials should be adapted for each child. Least restrictive environment (LRE). Children should learn with peers whenever possible. Early identification and intervention. Detecting special needs early improve outcomes. Equality and equity. All children should have access to education with resources based on need. Participation and inclusion. Children should be included in classroom activities, social events, and school life. Collaboration. Teacher, parents, counselors, and specialists should work together. Continuous assessment. Regular evaluation helps track progress and improve teaching strategies. So, chapter number 4 is approaches to the education of children with special need education (SNE). Introduction, understanding approaches to SNE. This section introduces different ways to educate children with special needs. It explains why adapting teaching methods is necessary to ensure all children learn effectively. 4.2 Approaches to education of children with special needs, different methods. Segregated approach. Children are taught in separate schools or classes designed for specific disabilities. Integration approach. Children join regular schools but receive special support in a separate classrooms or resource room. Inclusive approach. Children learn together in a same classroom with support to participate fully. So these three things: segregated, separate school; integration, same school but separate room; inclusion or inclusive approach mean same school, same classroom with regular students. 4.3 Schooling approaches for children with special needs. How school help. School adopt strategies based on students' need. Resource rooms and special classes for extra support. Mainstreaming for children capable of following regular curriculum with guidance. Collaborative teaching with general and special education teachers. 4.4 Inclusive education, teaching all together. Inclusive education ensures children with and without disabilities learn together in the same classroom. Theoretical overview. Inclusion is based on The idea that all children have the right to quality education focus is on participation, belonging, and equal opportunity. Principle of inclusive education. 4.2 4.4.2 Individualized support for all learners, access to least restrictive environments, early intervention and continuous assessment, collaboration between teachers, parents, and specialists. 4.4.3 Measure to enhance teaching for inclusion, modify curriculum, teaching methods, and assessment, use assistive technology and learning aids, encourage peer support and collaborative learning. 4.4.4 Action Plan for Inclusion. Identify students' needs clearly. Train teachers in inclusive strategies. Provide resources and support system for schools. 4.4.5 Target groups. Children with physical, sensory, intellectual, emotional, or learning disabilities. 4.4.4 Requirement for inclusive schools. Accessible classrooms and resources. Train teachers in special education techniques. Collaboration with parents and community. 4.4.7 Strategies for making inclusion successful. Flexible classroom, flexible curriculum and teaching methods, co-teaching and group activities. Encourage participation in all school activities. 4.4.8 Effectiveness of inclusive education. Improve academic, social, and emotional skills, reduce stereotypes and discrimination, prepares children for real life diversity. 4.4.9 Education of intellectually challenged students. Focus on life skills, functional academics, and social interaction. Provide individualized instruction and practical experiences. 4.4.10 Suggestions for improving inclusion. Regular teaching training, use of technology and learning aids, continuous monitoring of student progress. 4.5 Barriers to inclusive education. Challenges faced. Lack of trained teachers and resources, resistance from school staff, peers, or parents, physical barriers in classroom and schools, inflexible curriculum and assessment system. Conclusion: inclusive education benefit all children, promoting equality, social skills, and academic growth. Success requires planning, resources, teacher training, and community involvement. Chapter number 5: Rationale and strategies for inclusive education. 5.1 Introduction: Why inclusion matters. This section explains why inclusive education is important for children with and without disabilities. It highlights the benefits of including all students in mainstream schools. 5.2 Theoretical and Policy Foundations. Ideas behind inclusion. Based on human rights and equality, every child has the right to education. Policies like the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities (CRPD) support inclusion. National policies encourage inclusive schooling and teacher training. 5.3 Educational rationale, academic reasons for inclusion. Inclusive classroom help children with special needs achieve academic progress, encourage peer learning, collaboration, and motivation, improves reading, writing, and problem solving skills. 5.4 Social and emotional rationale, social benefits, promotes friendship, tolerance, and empathy among students, reduce stigma, discrimination, and social isolation, build confidence, self esteem, and emotional well being. 5.5 Economic and societal rationale, benefits for society. Inclusion reduces cost of segregated schools and long-term dependency, prepares students to participate in society and workforce effectively, encourages equal opportunities and social cohesion. 5.6 Challenges to inclusion, problem faced. lack of trained teachers and support staff, limited resources and infrastructure, resistance from parents, peers, or school management, difficulty in adapting curriculum and assessment methods. 5.7 Strategies to strengthen inclusion, how to make it work. Teacher training in inclusive practices, use of assistive technology, learning aids, and flexible teaching methods. Encourage peer support and collaborative learning. Develop school policies and support all students. Continuous monitoring and evaluation of inclusive programs. 5.8 Conclusion. Inclusive education is beneficial academically, socially, and economically. Success depends on teacher preparedness, resources, school policies, and community support. Chapter number 6, Assessing Children with Special Needs. 6.1 Introduction. Importance of assessment. Assessment helps understand the strengths, needs, and progress of children with special needs. It guides teacher in planning appropriate learning strategies and support. 6.2 Assessment process. How assessment is done. Identify learning needs of the child. Collect information from multiple sources, observation test reports. Analyze results to plan intervention. Implement strategies and evaluate outcomes. 6.3 Types of assessment, different methods. Formative assessment, ongoing checks during learning. Summative assessment, test at the end of a lesson or unit. Diagnostic assessment, identify specific learning difficulties. Standardized test, compare performance with age level peers. Informal assessment, observation, interview, portfolios, and checklists. 6.4 Factors in assessment, what to consider. Child's physical, mental, and emotional state, cultural and linguistic background, motivation and attention levels, environmental factors affecting performance. 6.5 Assessment areas, what to assess. Academic skills, reading, writing, math, cognitive skills, memory, reasoning, problem solving, social and emotional development, interaction, behavior, communication, physical and motor skills, fine and gross motor abilities, adaptive behavior, daily living skills. 6.6 Role of parents and families, support at home. Share information about child's behavior, interest, and difficulties. Participate in goal setting and intervention planning. Encourage practice and reinforcement at home. 6.7 Special considerations. Children with hearing, vision, or physical disabilities may need adapted assessment. Learning disabilities require specific diagnostic tools. Maintain sensitivity, patience, and respect during assessment. 6.8 Transition assessment, preparing for next stage. Assess readiness for next grade, school, or life skills programs. Identify strengths and support needs for smooth transition. 6.9 Continuous monitoring and support, ongoing progress tracking. Track academic, social, and emotional development regularly. Adjust teaching methods and intervention as needed. Use feedback loop between teachers, parents, and specialists. Conclusion. Assessment is essential for effective inclusion, requires collaboration among teachers, families, and specialists. Focuses on strengths, needs, and progress to improve learning outcomes. Chapter number 7 Curriculum Adaptation and Teaching Strategies. Introduction to curriculum adaptation, what it means. Curriculum adaptation means modifying teaching content, methods, and materials to meet the diverse need of all students, especially those with special needs. It ensures equal learning opportunities. 7.2 Need and purpose of curriculum adaptation, why it is important. Helps children with different abilities learns effectively. Supports students with physical, sensory, and or learning disabilities. Ensure inclusive classrooms are effective. Promote academic achievement, confidence, and participation. 7.3 Principles of Curriculum Adaptation Key Guidelines. Focus on student strengths and interests. Make learning flexible and accessible. Maintain high expectations for all learners. Provide individualized support when needed. Encourage active participation and engagement. 7.4 Types, areas of curriculum adaptation. What can be modified? Content adaptation. Simplify, add visuals, or provide alternative text. Teaching methods adaptation. Use group work, hand on activities, storytelling, or role play. Learning environment adaptation. Seating arrangement, noise control, lighting, or accessibility. Assessment adaptation, oral test, extra time, or simplified instructions. Materials adaptation, large print, audiobooks, manipulatives, or digital resources. 7.5 Steps in curriculum adaptation. How to adapt effectively. Identify student needs and abilities. Set learning goals for each child. Modify content, methods, and assessment. Implement strategies in the classroom. Monitor progress and make adjustments. 7.6 Teaching strategies in inclusive classrooms. How to teach. Use active learning methods, include group and peer activities, provide individualized support for students with special needs, use visual, auditory, and kinesthetic methods, maintain flexibility in teaching style and pace. 7.7 Types of inclusive teaching strategies. Cooperative learning, students work in mixed ability groups. Peer tutoring, students help each other in learning. Differentiated instruction, lessons adapted for different learning levels. Multi-sensory approach, use sight, sound, touch to teach concepts. Project-based learning, hands-on projects that involve all students. 7.8 Teachers' role in curriculum adaptation responsibilities. Understand student abilities and needs, plan flexible lessons with adaptations, provide individual support and guidance, collaborate with parents, special educators, and counselors, monitor progress and adjust strategies regularly. 7.9 Challenges in curriculum adaptation, difficulties teacher face. Large class size with diverse needs, limited resources and teaching materials, lack of training in inclusive teaching strategies, time constraint in planning individualized lessons, resistance from some students or parents. 7.10 Suggestions, recommendations for effective curriculum adaptation. How to improve. Provide teachers training and workshop on inclusive teaching. Ensure availability of adaptive learning materials. Promote collaboration among teachers, parents, and specialists. Regularly assess and adjust curriculum for effectiveness. Encourage peer support and group activities for inclusion. Chapter number 8 Collaborative and Teamwork for School Improvement. 8.1 Introduction. Why collaboration matters. Collaboration in school means teachers, staff, parents, and other stakeholders working together to improve teaching, learning, and the overall school environment. Effective teamwork lead to better students' outcomes, stronger school culture, and inclusive practices. 8.2 Collaborative School Culture. Building a team spirit. Encourages open communication and trust among teachers and staff. Promotes shared decision making in school activities. Supports mutual respect and understanding of each other's role. Helps create a positive and supportive learning environment. Key stakeholders. Who should collaborate? Teachers, general and special education teachers, school leaders, principals, guide and supervise collaborative efforts. Parents and families provide insight and support for children's learning. Students engage in decision making and feedback. Community members and experts provide resources, training, and assistance. 8.4 Forms of collaboration. How collaboration happens. Co teaching. General and special educators teach together in one class. Peer collaboration. Students work in a group to support each other. Parent teacher collaboration. Regular communication and joint problem solving. Professional learning communities. Teachers meet regularly to share strategies and improve skills. Interdisciplinary teams. Teachers, counselors, and therapists plan together for student support. 8.5 Benefits. Why collaboration is useful. Enhance student learning and achievement. Improve teaching strategies through shared expertise. Strengthen school culture and morale. Help Helps in identifying and solving problems quickly. Supports inclusive education by pooling resources and knowledge. 8.6 Challenges, problems in collaboration. Lack of communication between staff and stakeholders. Resistance to change or sharing responsibilities. Time constraint for meeting and planning. Limited resources to support collaborative activities. Role confusion among team members. 8.6 Solutions, how to overcome challenges. Schedule regular meetings with clear agendas. Define roles and responsibilities for all team members. Promote open and respectful communications. Provide training in teamwork and collaboration. Encourage a culture of trust, flexibility, and shared goals. Conclusion. 8.7 Conclusion. Collaboration and teamwork are essential for school environment. When teachers, parents, and stakeholders work together, students benefit academically, socially, and emotionally. A strong collaborative culture ensures that schools are inclusive, effective, and responsive to the needs of all learners. Chapter number 9, which is the last chapter, which is building community participation in schools. 9.1 Introduction. Why community participation matters. Community participation means involving parents, local organizations, and community members in schools, activities, and decision making. Active community engagement helps improve education quality, supports inclusive practices, and strengthen the connection between school and society. 9.2 Principles of effective community participation. Inclusivity. Everyone in the community should have a voice. Transparency. Discussions and processes should be open and clear. Shared responsibility. School and community share the responsibility for student success. Respect and trust. Relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding. Sustainability activities and programs should be maintained long term. 9.3 Areas, modes of community participation in schools. Where it happens. Parent involvement. Attending meetings, helping in classrooms, supporting homework. Volunteering. Community members assist in school events, extracurricular activities, and monitoring. Resource support. Donations, teaching aids, and financial help from community groups. Decision making committees. Community representative in school management committees. Awareness programs. Campaigns on education, health, and social issues. 9.4 Steps to build community participation. How to engage the community. Identify. Number one, identify key stakeholders, parents, local leaders, NGOs, and volunteers. Number two, create awareness. Inform the community about school needs and benefits of participation. Number three, establish communication channels, meeting, newsletters, social media, and social notice boards. Number four, assign roles and responsibilities. Clearly define what each participant can do. Organize collaborative activities, workshops, cultural events, parents teacher meeting. Number 6, feedback evaluation. Collect input from community members and improve practices. Number 9.5, roles in community participation. Who does what? Parents support learning at home, attend meetings, volunteer. Teaching and school staff coordinate community involvement, maintain communication. Students, participation in projects that involve community service. Community leaders and organizations provide guidance, resources, and mentorship. Government NGOs facilitate programs, training, and policy support. 9.6 Challenges to community participation. Common problems: low awareness or interest among parents, community members, cultural or social barrier limiting participation, lack of resources or time from stakeholders, poor communication between school and community, resistance to new initiative or change. 9.7 Recommendations, strategies to strengthen participation, how to improve it. Conduct awareness campaigns for parents and community members. Use flexible meeting times to accommodate participants. Provide training and guidance for parents and volunteers. Establish regular communication channels between school and community. Recognize and appreciate contributions to motivate continued involvement. 9.8, which is the last point, conclusion. Key takeaways: building strong community participation is vital for improving school performance, supporting inclusive education, and developing responsible students. When school and communities work together, students benefit academically, socially, and emotionally, creating a stronger, more connected society. So, this is the completion of solved outline of inclusive education, and the video is completed here. And see you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye.